The moment you rename your fear as direction instead of danger, everything changes. Everything. Fear is the loudest right before the breakthrough. That's what my spirit just kept telling me. Fear is the loudest right before your breakthrough. Fear is like an overprotective parent who never wants to leave the house, right? It means well, but if you listen to it all the time, you'll never experience it. You'll never experience life. And the size of your fear often equals the size of your opportunity, my friends. Listen, when I felt terrified to launch this podcast, guess what? That fear wasn't a signal to stop. It was confirmation that I was taking the right steps, that I was entering into something that was going to be sacred. Do it afraid. Here's the truth. You will either be led by fear or you will be led by faith. The miracle isn't in the absence of fear. The miracle is in the movement despite the fear. The miracle happens in the step of faith. The miracle happens when your confidence grows. Because on the other side of fear is purpose, is power, is peace. It's the very thing you've been praying for, my friends. Listen, you're not behind. You're not late. The bigger your calling is, the bigger your fear is, though. And that's not a warning, that's confirmation. Say the thing, make the call, send the email, raise your hand. Listen, my heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. 500 people staring back at me, waiting, like every cell in my body screaming, run, like, no, you can't do this. But here's what nobody tells you about fear. It's not trying to stop you. It's trying to show you something. Fear doesn't always mean stop. Sometimes it means pay attention. So here's $1 million question. What if that fear you're feeling isn't a warning sign, but a roadmap? A roadmap pointing exactly where you need to go next. The moment you rename your fear as direction instead of danger, everything changes. Everything. Look, fear doesn't get to drive anymore, and it's time to put that sucker in the passenger seat and take back control of your life's journey. Hey, I'm Michelle Serabia, and a few years ago, I almost let fear destroy my calling, not because something bad had happened, but because something good could happen. And I was about to talk myself out of it. I had an opportunity in front of me, a gig, an offer, a chance to finally step out. And I was about to let fear take it from me. My head said, you're not qualified. But my heart said, what if I fail? What if I fail again? And I was this close to deleting my website, just stopping everything, laying everything down. I even drafted an email to decline the offer. And then God just dropped something in my spirit that I'm never going to forget. Listen, fear is the loudest right before the breakthrough. That's what my spirit just kept telling me. Fear is the loudest right before your breakthrough. Listen, that night I didn't delete the website. I said yes. Yes to the gig, and I booked it, and I spoke from a stage I never thought I would stand on. And here's what happened after. Doors opened. My purpose got clearer, but none of it would have happened if I let fear win. Fear is like an overprotective parent who never wants to leave the house, right? It means well, but if you listen to it all the time, you'll never experience it. You'll never experience life. You're just going to watch life through the window, wondering, what if? And I've been in 100 of those moments since, and I think you have too. So let's talk about what fear really is and how to stop letting it sit in the driver's seat. Listen, we think fear is a wall, but really, fear is a spotlight. Listen, it shines on the parts of our life that matters the most. You're not scared because it doesn't matter. You're scared because it does. And here's what I've learned. Number one, fear doesn't mean stop. It means this matters. It means, whoa, wait, this must have to matter. Number two, fear doesn't mean turn around. It just means pay attention. Pay attention to what's right here, right now in front of you. Number three, fear doesn't mean you're not ready. It just means you are about to grow. And that is just the exciting part of life when you can realize it's not about being ready. It's about you're ready to grow. And the size of your fear often equals the size of your opportunity, my friends. Listen, when I felt terrified to launch this podcast, guess what? That fear wasn't a signal to stop. It was confirmation that I was taking the right steps, that I was entering into something that was going to be sacred. And I think about this. Moses, full of fear. Gideon, hiding in a wine press. Esther, she risked her life just to speak up. And yet God still called them. Why? Because fear is part of the journey, but it's not the driver. Fear is part of the journey, but it's not the driver. Let's not pretend fear goes away, okay? Let's not pretend that fear goes away. I still get nervous before I speak. I still get nervous before making big decisions, but now I know how to recognize it for what it is. I remember the first time I pitched myself to speak at an event and I was nervous and my voice was shaking. My head said, "Oh, don't you dare." And my spirit would be like, "Well, wait, do it afraid, do it afraid." And I did. And that door opened up a whole new season of opportunities. Think of it like this. And I want you to think of it like this. Fear and faith are like two radio station frequencies, right? They're playing at the same time. And you don't eliminate fear, you just turn up the volume on faith and you turn down the volume on fear. Listen, both signals are going to be there, but you choose which one you're going to listen to. Isaiah 41:10 says this, "Do not fear, for I am with you." Notice it doesn't say, "Hey, there won't be any fear." It says, "Don't live in it." God is with us in it. This is next level. Right now, here's the truth. You will either be led by fear or you will be led by faith. You will either be led by your fear or you will be led by your faith. But you can't serve both, my friends. You cannot serve fear and you cannot serve faith. Faith isn't ignoring fear, it's just choosing which story you believe. The one that fear tells you or the one that God tells you. It's simple as that. Let me be real. There was a season I let fear make every decision. I stayed quiet when I should have spoken up. I stayed small because it felt safer than being seen. And I passed on opportunities that I knew I wish I had taken. My biggest regrets aren't the times I was too afraid to try at all. I was not playing to lose rather than playing to win. But the moment I chose faith over fear, just that one time, it created a ripple effect. It gave me evidence that I could do this afraid. That courage wasn't about the absence of fear. It's not. Fear never leaves, per se. It wasn't that. It was about walking with fear and choosing obedience anyway. I want you to think about Gideon in the Bible. God found him hiding in a wine press, and you've got, and basically he's saying, "Hey, you've got the wrong guy here, God." Like, I think this is just classic fear talk, right? But notice what God didn't do. He didn't remove Gideon's fear. Instead, he asked Gideon to act despite it. So with each small step of obedience, Gideon, fear lost its power. And here's what I need you to understand. The miracle isn't in the absence of fear. The miracle is in the movement despite the fear. So the lesson, I think God rarely removes our fear before we act. The miracle happens in the movement. The miracle happens in the step of faith. The miracle happens when your confidence grows in knowing who you are in Christ, and the Christ in you flows out of you. So here's my challenge to you right now. What's one decision that you've been avoiding because fear is driving in the driver's seat? And what would it look like to do it anyway? Question of who could be impacted if you actually did it, if you actually said yes. But I need you to identify that one thing right now. That thing that makes your heart race when you think about it, that's your roadmap. That's your next step. That's your wind, your bigger view of your car, right? As in the driver's seat. But when we let fear ride in the passenger seat, but it doesn't get the wheel. And that's the difference. We can let fear ride in the passenger seat, but it doesn't get the wheel. We can acknowledge it's there, but it doesn't give us directions. It doesn't tell us where to go. It doesn't even drive us to where it thinks we need to go. And don't wait for fear to leave before you move. Like, move anyway. Because on the other side of fear is purpose, is power, is peace. It's the very thing you've been praying for, my friends. Listen, you're not behind. You're not late. And even for my older friends, right? Fear has not disqualified you. The only thing standing between you and the next level is your moment of bold obedience. That's it. And the good news is it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be honest. Has to come from your heart. I want you to think of fear like a shadow. Remember, we said it's like a spotlight and it produces this shadow. This fear does. And the closer you get to the light, the bigger your shadow becomes. The bigger your calling is, the bigger your fear is, though. And that's not a warning, that's confirmation. Say the thing, make the call, send the email, raise your hand. Fear is present regardless, but you are still in control. And the next chapter of your story, listen, it starts the moment you decide to turn that fear into fuel. Fear is a passenger, not the driver. Fear is the passenger. It's not the driver. You've got to put it in its place and you get to watch your life transform because of it. So my friends, remember, fear doesn't get the final say, you do. And I'm in your corner and I'm cheering you on for every step that you take, okay? See you next time.